going on? What's going on, my people? I'm Eugene Napoleon. This is Napoleon's Corner. Before I get started, please like and subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate your support. This is episode 153, 153rd episode. Man, to God be given all the glory. This episode is it's due to a really, really deep and interesting conversation that I had with one of my nephews. And the title is, Who Are You? And I remember maybe about a year ago, I did a similar episode, but I didn't get as deep as I'm about to get today with this particular topic of who are you? And I'm going to give a big shout out to my nephew, Sydney. We call him Sid. It was a timely conversation. We were there, as you can see. This is my nephew, Dion Dawkins, who plays for the Buffalo Bills. We were actually at a kickoff tournament that Dion's Dreamers, which is his foundation, they sponsored over the weekend here in our town where we live, Rahway, New Jersey. And while we were at the event, the after party, we were actually, myself and Sid were sitting down just chopping it up and posed a really interesting question of who are you? Now, this comes from just once you've talked and taken care of everybody, you talk through all of the different things that you are as a human being, right? So once you've taken care of everybody, at the end of the day, and you make sure that everything that let's say if you are a husband or if you are a wife, right? And you've done everything you were supposed to do. And someone was to pose that question of you, who are you? Interestingly enough, when he asked me that question, it was like, wow. And he said, and I'm not talking about you being the husband, being the father. I'm not, who are you, right? Outside of everything that you do for your family. So in other words, what he was really asking, if you had to pull everything aside and someone was to ask you, pretty much who are you as a person and or what are you doing for you personally, not for everybody else, but for you, who are you? I was like, Sid, man, that is such a deep question. So I actually started pondering that and thinking about that for myself. Like, okay, of course, I know I'm a husband. I know I'm a father. I know I'm a teacher. I know I'm a motivational speaker. I know I'm an author. I know I'm a former agent. But when you wipe all those things away for everybody else, because when you're an agent, obviously I was an agent of, at one point, 26 clients. Then I dwindled it down to about 10 clients. Okay, so who I am to them is one thing, but outside of that, who am I, right? So obviously you're married. I'm married for 31 years, a beautiful wife, beautiful family. I'm a father of my son, Brandon, or whatever. I'm a granddad. So when you wipe those things away and you start asking the question of who are you within yourself, like, what would you say? If I didn't say I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a former coach, I'm a former player and all that stuff, it's like, what's left of you, the person? And when you whittle all that away for everything that you've done for everybody else, what have you done for yourself? I think that was the overlapping question that Sydney was asking, and it's an interesting question because it makes you reflect. It makes you say, wow, I never thought about it from that perspective. So I'm like, okay, the things that I've done for me personally, I know I'm a Christian man. Values, right? Okay, morals and values, the things that I believe in that make me the man I am, the individual that I am today. Okay, I know by living by those values and those morals that I'm going to try to do the best that I can as an individual, as me, myself, to project something positive out into the world. Okay. So as a person, that's who I am. Okay. The way I was raised, the foundation that I was raised with to cement that is who I am authentically. Now, if I took those values, those morals, that foundation, and whomever I've encountered, whomever I've touched throughout my 58 years thus far on this earth in my existence, then I'm hoping that the person that I am authentically will share some positive, have some positive impact, positive influences, positive vibes towards whomever I'm around. So that's who I am as a person. What have I done, let's say, to cement my passions and my goals and my dreams individually? It then would have been, I love writing, so writing books. Um, Personally, as an athlete, I loved playing sports. So football was my one in particular love of a sport. So football. Now, these are the things, again, individually as a person, it connects to who I am, okay? Because those were or are my passions. Currently, I am a special education teacher. Now, obviously, teaching, yeah, you're going to deal with kids, but I think that comes through the vessel of who I am. And one of the passions that I chose to do years ago. So it is an extension of my individual dreams and I guess uh, the things that I've wanted to kind of, I guess, give and give back, if that makes sense. So I think that's part of who I am as a person. Yeah, and obviously when you're working with young people, you're working with a staff of people. Yeah, I guess outside of them, I still would be doing something very, very similar to that, like motivational speaking. I do motivational speaking. So those are the things that I'm passionate about. So I really do think that kind of it's woven into who I am as a person. Now, to dig a little bit deeper into that conversation, I think a lot of times maybe we get so lost in doing so much for so many other people that you kind of get your dreams, your aspirations get lost in that. And I think that's probably where Sid was going with that question of who are you? Like, do you really know, or have you gotten lost in doing so much for so many other people? My occupations are, I wear many, many hats as an executive of our own record label. So I am an executive of Nat Vision Entertainment, right? Okay. That's one hat. Like I said, I'm still an educator. I'm a special education teacher. So that's another hat. I am a manager, and I manage my wife's career and my cousin, uh, from PM Dawn, Jared Cortez. I manage his career. Kenny Black, the Music Machine, as a producer. So, I used to manage Total. So that's another totally different hat. Being a motivational speaker, as I spoke on earlier. Yeah, those are 3, 4 different hats. But I don't think in the premise of all of those things, I've lost who I am authentically as a person, because again, it still comes back to the foundation of how I was raised, of being a moral person with values, with wanting to be the best person I can be, to project that out to others. I haven't lost that within all the other things that I do. And, again, being a husband and a father, I haven't lost that. But I think maybe where Sid was getting, what was going with this, was there's a lot of times when you're doing so much for so many other people, we probably tend to lose ourselves with everybody else's dreams, everybody else's aspirations, everybody else's personal goals. And we're pushing so hard to make sure that everybody else is good that sometimes you kind of lose yourself and you're not good. And you can, you go down this, you're on this road, you're on this path, you're on this journey to make sure everyone else around you are obtaining their goals, their dreams, their aspirations, and all these different things. And before you know it, you look up and you're 60. And because you've done so much for everybody else, you kind of say, wow, I didn't get a chance to do this for myself. And you've kind of lost yourself in that whole process. So I believe that's where we were going in that conversation. And I told him, I said, you know what? I said, Sid, man, I'm going to make this a Napoleon's Corner topic because I really think that's really profound when you think about it. And I wonder how many other people feel the same way. And maybe or maybe not, they have the opportunity to talk about it. Maybe or maybe not, they have the opportunity to reflect and think about it. I said, so I'm definitely going to make that a topic. So having that conversation with my nephew Sid pretty much prompted me to make this a Napoleon's Corner topic for today. And it's interesting. I really think that's one to grow on. That's definitely one to think about. I think that's a topic to reflect on. And maybe it's even a topic to write some things, some things down, take some notes on it, and maybe ask yourself that question: who are you outside of everything else that you do for everybody else? What do you continually and consistently do for yourself to continue to push? Because here's the secret. Here's a little secret sauce, right? So me being passionate about the things that I do and the things that I want to do and that I'm really, really motivated to do, I love seeing and watching the growth of everybody else. I totally enjoy that. I think it's a blessing. I think when God gives you something and you're blessed with something and you can share with others and give to others, that, to me, personally, to me, that's the blessing. Like that's the secret sauce for me personally. So I'm so geeked and excited when someone else is working hard, being diligent about their goals and their aspirations, and then they reach their goals, right? I'm doing backflips because that's part of why I do what I do. I think being blessed in a position to help others, again, this is me personally, that's what it's all about. It's not about hoarding everything that you can for yourself. It truly is about God blessed you to be in a certain position to help others. I feel good about doing that. So maybe in writing this down and answering that question, who are you? If it stems from a place of giving and it's an appreciation of the blessings that you've already garnered, man, that's a beautiful spot to be in. But I think conversely, if you've lost yourself in doing for so many other people that you pretty much forgot to do for yourself, then I think conversely, that's probably where, you know, certain things don't click and you don't feel as good because maybe you feel like I've done so much for so many other people, but I haven't even done the things I want to do for myself. Maybe, I'm not sure. I just know that I thank God every single day for knowing who I am authentically and knowing that what I've been blessed with can help others. So it's continually, you know, pretty much builds me back up because that is my motivation. You know, inspiration, one of my inspirations is always to inspire positive change into others and into others because of the gifts and the blessings that God provided me with. That's always, for me, that's one to grow on. I really do believe that. So in closing this out, I'm going to say, maybe write that question down and see if you can pin about 3 to 4, maybe even 5 things that you can come up with to answer that question within yourself, and make sure that in the process of doing for everybody else, that you don't forget to do for yourself as well. It's not being selfish, because think about it. You've already done for everybody else. Just make sure that you are doing for yourself as well. I'm Eugene Napoleon. This is Napoleon's Corner. I'll see you next week. Take care.